So I was packing up these two backpacks here for an upcoming trip my wife and I are going to take. It's just a habit I like to do before big trips to make sure I play the pack Tetris, get everything packed right, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Is there anything missing? Is there anything that needs to be refilled, like soap and toothpaste tabs and all that? And I decided, you know what? I have to unpack everything and put everything away anyway, so why not do a quick video because I've not done a couples video, right? Now, before I forget, let me break down the weights. Here you can see I already began to like take out everything out of the pack I will be using, which is the Arc Haul, Z-Packs Arc Haul. And my wife, this is the pack that she used last year, and my go-to frameless pack, which is the Z-Packs Zero in a hybrid Cuban in a lovely moss green. Yes, so the weights. All together with all this is the main pocket, in there is around 5 kilos. We're going deluxe on this trip. That for me is heavy. So if you're a super ultralight person, that's like, what? And if you're like a traditional backpacker, that's also like, what? But yeah, then my wife, she's going to be taking a bit less. She's at 3.7-ish kilos, right? And we're sharing, obviously, quite a lot. The big thing is going to be shelter. I'll get to that whenever I break down everything, when I get to it, right? Okay, so let's get through this as quickly as I can here, especially because I don't have that much memory on my phone, right? Now, there's one thing I will say that is not counted in the weight. This is pretty complete. This is like 99.9 maybe, or at least 99% everything. There is one thing. We are in the market for a battery pack for my wife's phone, right? So obviously my phone that I'm using to film now and my wife's phone, and then she's going to get a battery pack to charge her phone. That is not in the weight, so add another, I don't know, 200 grams in there or whatever. And you have the complete base weight, not including any food or water. Okay, now let's get into it. Here's the satchel that I'm going to be taking. My wife has decided to go with hip belt and shoulder pouch, right? But I'm going to be going no pouches, but a satchel. I recently, if you're interested, broke down my ditty bags and the contents of like my satchel. So if you check out my channel, you can check out a pretty thorough breakdown of what's in my ditty bags and satchel and all that, right? Probably the most often accessed thing in my satchel is map, right? But you have other things in there, right? That is nice to have with you, okay? Next, I have I guess I better get down here so you can see everything more completely. I'll move stuff out of the way. So that's the satchel. Here's an empty food bag. Each of us are going to have a 8-liter bag for food. We're going to be going for about a week, right? And we should have plenty of space. You can see that the top of the packs, there's plenty of space. We're going to do luxury food for the first, day or so. But yeah, so this is included in the weight, right? Just a Sea to Summit silicone nylon food dry bag, which we'll use as a food bag. Titanium pot will be cooked. We'll use both of us will be using that. When I get to my wife's pack, though, you'll see that she has her own bowl that she's going to be, eating out of, so we don't have to share just one pot, right? But yeah, it's going to be S-bit with a titanium tri-wing stove in there, right? With a mini bic, the standard ultralight S-bit stove cook kit. In here I have my rain clothing. I have the Go-Lite Poncho Tarp, silicone nylon rain pants, and then some rain mitts. Rains quite a lot here in Sweden, so there's that. The Poncho Tarp I do not expect to pitch it all, but I like it as a pack cover. But I suppose if I wanted to, if it was like a really nasty storm or something, I could pitch it in addition to our main, or our what is going to be our shelter, right? But yeah, there's that. Okay, in this Cuban bag here, I have my clothing. This is I have my Bora Gear down vest, some silk pajamas, and a beanie, and my pillow. That's going to be in there. So that's my clothing bag. It's going to be summertime, and obviously it's next month. But I guess if you're watching this different time of the year, what I mean by that is July in the mountains of central Sweden and Norway. That's where we're going to be headed. Okay, now the big bag here. It's the silicone nylon stuff sack. Is our shelter is going to be the Tarp Tent Cloudburst 3. We used this last year on our big section hike and we're very, very happy with it. Great for family camping too. Palace for 2 people. Very happy with it. There are going to be some cabins and other trail shelters along the way, but I imagine we're going to be using this for most of the nights out there. Okay, so there's that. Get that out of the way. And now I have over here my... I recently did a big breakdown of all sleeping pads and all that. This is the Gossamer Gear Air Beam Uninsulated Sleeping Mat. I have tested this out in the field. When I did the video, my last video, I had not tested it, but my first impressions are strong. Very comfortable. Very happy with this. I imagine I'm going to get good use out of this when the temperatures are not so cold. Okay. This is going to be the SOL Escape Bivy Light, and I like to refer to it as like my cold snap regulator or insurance. It's possible this will not get used at all, but if I get chilled or my wife gets chilled, then we can use it. I'm only going to bring in the one because if it gets really, really cold, we could always bundle it together, get into, the same sleeping bag. You'll see that in a minute, that can be opened up. But anyway, yeah. It's just a nice insurance to have if it gets like super cold. We are going into the mountains after all, but I imagine this may not even get used or used, maybe just a bit. Yeah, so 150 grams is not much weight penalty to have just in case. I happen to be a more warm sleeper, and my wife is a colder sleeper, so she has a much warmer sleeping bag. We'll get to that in a bit. Now, my sleeping bag, speaking of sleeping bags, is a make your own gear, do it yourself. Climate Shield Apex plus Aragon 67 plus Silk sleeping bag. I'm very, very happy with it. I'd rate it around 11, 12 degrees. I've talked about this quite a bit before in other videos and written about it on my blog quite a bit. So yeah, in a silicone nylon stuff sack. So there's my sleeping bag. My pack, as I said before, I'm not going to get into every little thing that's in the pockets, right? You have... I have my a very thin foam pad that I'll be using in conjunction with my inflatable mat. But you got, obviously recycled plastic water bottles. I got in my, front pocket. You got your first aid. I got my knife in there. I've got ditty bags, repair kit. All that good stuff is in there. So I won't, bother with that. But now let's get into my wife's bag. Here's her bowl to go with the cook kit, right? So we don't have to just, share one bowl. I can boil up water, put her, say, I don't know, rice and beans or couscous and lentils or whatever, and we can eat, separately. Yeah, pretty convenient. So I'll put that over there on the table, and then here's just an identical food bag. We're both going to be splitting the weight of the food. Then here is her rain gear bag in a nice Cuban fiber dry bag. She is opting for, I'm going to be doing a poncho. She's going to be doing rain jacket and rain pants, and then a pack cover to go with the pack there. That's what she used last year, and she was happy with that. All right, next up, now here is where she really packed on the weight. In a bigger Cuban fiber Z-Packs dry bag. This is the size medium. She's got a ton of clothing. As I said before, she gets much colder than I do. So she's got like sleep socks and wool base layers and a spare t-shirt and what else? I think that's it, but this is just, it's very bulky. It's up to her. I said, you can take whatever you want. So she takes, more clothing than I'm going to be taking. And oh yeah, there's a fleece in here too. I forgot about that. She's taking a thin fleece too in there. I'll be taking as my insulating, morning and night layer down vest. She's going for a fleece plus, thicker wool base layer. So there's that big heavy clothing bag. And then as a frame in here, I'm not going to bother to take it out. This is the Thermarest X Lite inflatable sleeping pad. That's folded to be the frame of the frameless pack here. And then Deep down in here, we have, she's going for a pillow, luxury item, right? This is a make your own gear, do it yourself pillow, just with a nylon pillowcase, and inside there's some foam left over from actually an old backpack that we're going to get rid of, but we salvaged some foam from the lumber pad, actually. It's a beast of a backpack, so there's plenty of foam in there to be salvaged. But anyway, so there's her pillow. I'm using an inflatable pillow. And now, let me see here, come on now, I'm running out of space on my phone here. Okay, in this Sea to Summit dry bag, we have a Z-Packs 40 long wide sleeping bag. This is my go-to bag for quite some time during the year. It's rated to 5 degrees centigrade. As I said before, my wife is a colder sleeper. This can be opened up, and so we could theoretically both use this if it gets super cold, but I doubt we'll have to do that. Less than a minute to go, but you know what? I nailed it. That was it. That's the last big thing, because then in here, in her front pocket, it's the tent poles, tent stakes, her own ditty bags, and she's got a foam sit pad there. Ha! I did it. And the bag falls over, so that's what we're going to be taking on our trip. Hope this was helpful, enjoyable. Yeah, happy trails to you this summer. Hope you get out there with your partner if you got one. And if not, have fun out there solo. Take care. Bye.